What is going on, everybody? It's Hunter with another Tackle Talk Tuesday. It has been a dang minute, but as you guys can see, we're in a different shop. We've upgraded. We're in a much bigger space now. Orders have been flying out. We've been really dang busy getting this all set up, and I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate you. We're going to be having a really fun video today. We're going to be talking about night bass fishing. Honestly, probably one of the most slept on ways to catch fish, catch a ton of fish, and catch a lot of really big fish. Not a lot of guys do it. I know a lot of guys that bass fish. Obviously, I sell fishing lures. I know a ton of guys, but I don't know a ton of guys that night fish hardcore, and this is one of the absolute best times of year right now to get out and catch 20 to 40 fish a night, catch a lot of really big ones, and just have an absolute blast with no other fishing pressure around you. You don't have to worry about anybody. The fish are dumb. They can't see. You have the advantage right now, especially with the amount of pressure and how good everybody's been getting. Everyone's talking about how to finesse them and how to downsize your line and all these little nitpicky things that you can do to catch all these fish that are super pressured. Nobody's talking about night bass fishing, okay? It's out there. A ton of guys do it. There's a ton of tournaments, especially as you get further down south. I live in Nebraska. No one around here does it. It is not a thing. 98.5% of the nights I go out, there's nobody else out there. And if there is anybody out there, they're trying to catch catfish. So this is a great way to catch a ton of fish, catch a lot of really big fish, and just have a blast by yourself with no pressure. Run a heavy rod, run heavy line, and just whack them on all the best things in bass fishing. Go old school. It's great. Okay, so this video, we're going to be breaking down where I like to go, what I like to fish, my favorite baits for it, why night bass fish. I think a lot of guys think they go to sleep. They don't. There's a whole, we'll get into that. Doesn't matter, okay? But we're going to be talking about all the basics to night bass fishing. We're going to be going from the perspective of a bank fisherman. All the same concepts apply if you're in a boat, but we're just going to be talking about from the bank because it's a super easy way to get out for a couple hours if you're still up at night, catch a ton of fish, have a blast, all the good stuff and things. We're going to be talking about what setups I like to run, the baits and stuff I'm chucking when I'm out there, the way I like to retrieve it. We're going in depth today. We're going to talk about everything. And before we jump into things, I just want to let you guys know it's Tackle Talk Tuesday. We've got an awesome deal running tomorrow. What is it, August 13th through the 15th. All of our big jig boxes, which is a subscription or single box, you can buy either one, comes with 7 jigs. Every month if it's a subscription, if you just want a one-off for a gift, if you just want to try some of our stuff, it's got 7 jigs. Normally they're $29.99, so it's already a deal. This week, the 13th through the 15th, we're running them for $23.99. So it's going to be an awesome little deal. If you run a subscription, if you buy the subscription, you get it for cheaper then. So that price stays true the whole year if you buy it at that price now. So it's an awesome deal. Throw in a bunch of awesome baits, normally all of our best sellers. Sometimes we throw in custom stuff, whatever it may be, we're gonna load you guys up. So check that out. It's linked below on the website. And we're gonna go ahead and jump into things for you guys, okay? Starting off, just to dive in before we get into all the nitty gritty technical stuff about baits and whatnot, we're gonna talk about why go out at night, okay? Right now it's hot. It's stupid hot out. I think right now in the shop, since we don't have AC, it's like 90 degrees in here right now. So if you see me start sweating in this video, don't worry about it, I'm not gonna heat stroke out. We've got drinks and all the good stuff and things for this, but it's hot, it's really hot. The water's warm, the fish are not exhausted, but their metabolisms are an all-time high right now. So even, it doesn't matter how much bait's in the lake, if you're noticing a lot of your fish are really skinny for no reason, it's not because they're not eating enough or there's not enough food. It's because they just can't eat enough to stay fat right now. So it's hot, it's gonna stay hot all the way through September, depending on where you're at in the country. And these fish are trying to eat as much as possible. There's an entire population of fish, especially with the amount of pressure that we're getting. I said at the beginning of the video, these fish are getting the absolute crap beat out of them every single day by bank fishermen, guys on boats, tournament anglers, whatever it may be. And I understand the further south you go, the more common night bass fishing is, but in the Midwest, it's not a huge thing. And these fish, no matter where you're at, are sick and tired of the heat. They go dormant during the day, they go sit in a brush pile, they're really sluggish, but there's an entire population of fish that come out at night and they feed like crazy because it's much cooler out, it's dark, they've got an advantage over their prey that goes and hides and whatnot. So it's a great time to go out and fish. If you're not scared of the dark and you've got some areas that you can go out, whether that be public, private, you know what, do whatever you want. If you can get on a body of water and fish at night, you're going to have a great time. I'm going to tell you the baits that you have to use. I'm going to tell you how to catch them, what the setup should be, where to look for them, and you're going to go out and have an absolute blast. I can promise you that. But bass come up shallow. They roam all the places that you would normally fish during the day, and all those bluegill, that are going dormant for the night, that are a lot more sluggish. They have the disadvantage, right? They can't see as good. All the crawdads come out, the shad push shallow. All of the things that you normally look for, you know, in the evenings and the morning in those low light situations where the fish are more active, it's like that all night, right? They're more active because it's low light and they have the advantage over their prey. It's the same way in the evening when all of their prey can't see as good, and those bass can wander around and bump into those crawdads that are out for the night. All those bluegill that are dormant, if they scoot off, those bass are gonna chew on them. All the shad that are up ticking around the rocks doing the shad things, right? Those bass are right there with them. They're chewing all night. And this is an awesome way to get out by yourself and catch an absolute ton of fish. So before we get into the baits to throw, I'm gonna talk about a couple of different areas that I find are high percentage areas, the things I like to do, what I like to target when I'm out. And again, this is from the perspective of a bank fisherman because I think that's the easiest way. Throw in a backpack, you grab a handful of baits, 2 rods, and you go out and you whack on them. The first area that I almost always catch fish on when I'm night bass fishing is gonna be some kind of riprap, any kind of chunk rock on the bank, but any kind of rock on the bank is an awesome place to start if you're going out. Most public bodies of water have it somewhere in some capacity, and it's so good because it holds so many different types of forage, okay? It's got a lot of cracks, it's got a lot of different little coveys and crevices, crevasses, whatever you want to call them there, that bait can go in, and those bass will just creep along those rocks all night, come around, and every little crawdad that pokes its head out, and all the bluegill that go in the cracks to sleep or whatever, all the shad will come along and do the shad things. I don't know what they're up to, but they're there. They all live in those rocks in the evenings. It's an awesome place for them to hide. The bass will sit just outside of them, roam around all night. And that is an awesome place to start, whether you're throwing a bottom bait, a moving bait. We'll get into that here in just a couple minutes, but riprap or any kind of chunk rock on the bank is an awesome place to catch a ton of fish because there is a ton of bait there and those bass know it. Second favorite place to target is finding any kind of body of water right now that has a ton of grass in it. We'll get into the baits I like to throw on that, but that's a really awesome way too because all those fish that bury themselves way down in that grass in the day when it's stupid hot out, that don't come out, the only way to get to them is to punch down or hope you get lucky during one of those feeding windows during the day. A lot of those fish, they don't have any reason to bury themselves in the grass at night. They just don't. So they'll come out, they'll sit right on top of it, they'll roam the top of the grass flats, wherever that would be, and whether that's clump grass, whether that's grass flats, anything like that, those fish are out and about. There's no reason for them to bury themselves. And so any kind of grassy area, especially grass that hasn't quite topped out yet, is awesome. It's a great way to cover a ton of water, just chuck and wind, and you'll pick up a ton of those fish. Casting a swim jig or chatterbait, we'll get into that here in just a little bit. But grassy lakes, especially like we've got around me, ponds, small reservoirs, whatever it may be, all the same grassy areas that you're fishing during the day because they hold a lot of fish are amazing at night, okay? And last but not least, any kind of dock or structure in the water is another great place. And I realize I'm just listing off the things you would normally fish during the day, but that's kind of the point. If the fish are there during the day, they're gonna be there at night. So fish all the same things that you would normally target, just know that the approach is gonna be slightly different now that it's gotten dark out, and those fish are gonna be a lot more active. So we'll go ahead and jump into the baits that I like to throw and why it's so much dang fun to fish at night because you just catch the absolute piss out of them. All right, now that we've kind of jumped into why night fish, where to target, all that good stuff and things, we're gonna go into the 3 baits, my top 3 baits for night bass fishing. These work 90% of the time. Again, it's not very complicated, and if these don't work, there's a couple other things that we'll touch on. There'll be the honorable mentions for this video, but more often than not, I can put these 3 baits, I can bring 3 rods, and I'm gonna catch them on them most of the time, and if I don't, again, we'll talk about the honorable mentions, but these are gonna work, I can promise you that. My first favorite and the bait I use the most when I'm fishing at night, when it's dark, is gonna be the LS Lures Bladed Football Jig. This thing is freaking awesome, okay? It's got a lot of thump. That blade hits that head and causes a lot of noise. It's got an awesome hook in it. We run BKKs and everything, so super premium there. But the reason why this is so good, especially if you're fishing around rock, hardcover, even grass, is that I can slow wind it. It's got a lot of noise. It's got a ton of vibration, so those fish can feel it, all right? They can't see as well. Most of the time, we'll get into moon phases here too towards the end, but they can feel it. They can use their lateral lines. It's gonna bring them in because they're super active again, right? So we want every advantage that we can possibly get them over to that bait, so they can feel it really good. And I mimic pretty much everything that is swimming around that they're eating, right? So at night, a silhouette is gonna be your best friend. Most guys that I talk to are like, well, why don't you throw bright white? Why don't you throw really bright colors? It's dark out. Yeah, you can, and those work, but my absolute favorite colors to throw at night is something that's really dark. So our color contusion, our smoke purple shad colors are really good because they're really dark. They've got a good presence in the water. And what those fish are seeing, they're not seeing colors as much anymore. They're seeing silhouettes. So the darker your color is, the darker that silhouette's gonna be, the easier it is for that fish to key in on it, come and eat it. So this bait has a ton of vibration. It does super good around rocks and riprap because of that head design. So where a normal bladed jig is gonna hit those rocks and wedge into every little crack and crevice, this basically functions as a square bill. So it hits, they track really good. We've got them in 3 different sizes, 3/8, half, and 3/4. This is a 3/4, but I typically like throwing a 3/8 and just floating it. I feel like, generally speaking, the slower I can reel it with the 3/8, the more bites I get. I don't like burning a lot of stuff at night. I just like keeping things nice and easy, slow winding along those rocks, ticking into them as much as I can, and they absolutely hork these things down. So this is a great way to cover water. It's really good ripping over the top of grass, just fluttering over. Every time you hit a strand, you pop it free, flutter it back, and they just munch it. So pretty much all the things I enjoy fishing at night, I can fish effectively with this. If you want to, yo-yo it off the bottom if they're a little bit more sluggish, but more often than not, this is an awesome bait for catching a lot of fish, covering a ton of water. I don't typically milk areas very much when I'm fishing at night, especially on the bank. I like to cover water as much as I can, fish pretty fast. Just seems like you get a lot more bites that way and put this bait in front of as many fish as I possibly can. So our football bladed jig is an awesome way to have a ton of vibration, to get those fish to see it, feel it, check all the boxes of what they're looking for, and fish every piece of cover, wood, rock, docks, grass, whatever it may be, super effectively. And I can basically put this through everything, especially when it's dark out. If I can't see, I don't want a bait that's gonna get snagged on absolutely everything either, because if I make a poor cast, or I bomb it somewhere that I don't know what's going on, this thing's gonna bounce off cover super well, whereas most of your standard bladed jigs or anything else are gonna get snagged up, you're gonna be mad, and you're just gonna have a really bad time. So this is option A, it catches a ton of fish. I get a lot of questions about why not a big spinnerbait. I feel like this performs much better and gets a lot more bites generally. Big spinnerbait's great, I'm not saying it's not great. We make them custom for guys all the time, so if you want one, shoot us an email, put our email below. But if you want to get more bites, and a lot of bites, whether that's small to large, anything in between, I feel like a bladed jig gets that done really well. So check these out on our website, everything's linked below. But our football bladed jig is an awesome way to go out and catch a ton of bites and get a ton of bites and have a lot of fun right now. Moving into number 2, we've got our Gaff Swim Jig. These things are deadly, and it seems like on the nights where they don't want that vibration, which you'll have it, don't get mad at me if you go out and you throw one of these and you don't get bit, just switch over. It seems like some nights they're really keyed in on that vibration from the bladed jig, other nights they're not, and when they're not, a Gaff Swim Jig is gonna be your best friend, okay? I don't do anything too crazy with these. I put some kind of kicking trailer on the back, I leave my skirt pretty full so it's got that presence, and I slow roll it along the same areas. I don't like twitching it a ton, I don't like doing a ton of stuff. It seems like the most effective way to get a ton of bites and the best way to like not overcomplicate it, just put something that kicks on the back and slow wind this through the same areas. Keep it above that grass, skip it around your docks, cast it around your docks, put it on right on the bottom there when you're fishing that rock, and just tick it along, and they absolutely hork this thing down. I think part of the reason is, and what I've been seeing this year more than ever, because I've really been trying to pay attention and figure out like the whys. You know, I used to just rotate through the stuff and it would be like, well, they're not eating this, let me go to that. But it seems like on the nights where things are brighter, the swim jig will typically outfish a bladed jig. So full moon, a high moon, anything like that, where that moon is kicking out a ton of light, it seems like they can get a better read on this. They just don't eat it as good. I'm not saying they're not going to eat it, and this isn't science-backed or anything like that. I'm just talking from my experience. It seems like on the brighter nights, this doesn't work as well. It also seems like on the nights where there's a lot more wind, this works better. So play around with it, do whatever you want. If it's if there's no moon, if it's cloudy, throw the bladed jig first. But on any night where it's a little bit calmer, the moon's high, anything like that, where that light penetration's coming down, they can get a better look at it. It seems like that swim jig really outdoes things. So don't overcomplicate it, don't move it too fast. Just slow roll that sucker along with a little trailer that's got some action on the back. I've got one tied on here. I keep things super simple. I keep a pretty bulky skirt. I keep some kind of kicking trailer on the back. I run straight braid, and I just slow wind this puppy around. So that's my number 2. Those 2 are pretty much tied for number 1. You know, it just depends on the conditions. But if you throw a football bladed jig and a Gaff Swim Jig, you're gonna catch a lot of fish. And it's super easy to go out. And I know you're gonna think I'm crazy, but 20 to 40 plus fish nights are not uncommon because there's so many fish up chewing and they just don't get any pressure. There's nobody going out night fishing for these things. So I'm gonna ruin a big secret here, but if you guys are in the Midwest, load up on these puppies, they're linked below, and you're gonna have a great time, okay? Another thing, they don't have to be dark. I know a lot of guys that are gonna argue with me on this. You can throw natural green pumpkin colors too if you want, if you're in gin clear water. Most of our water around here is not super clean, so if you're in really clean water and you can get away with it, throw a bluegill color with a dark trailer. Do whatever you want, experiment around. All I'm saying is the swim jig's deadly. Play around with the colors as you wish. They're all linked below. I'm gonna stop rambling now. And number 3 for top baits, I had to include this one because it's an absolute classic. Some kind of buzzbait. Whether it's a clacker or not a clacker, if they're feeding really good or if you want to get an absolute giant bite, a buzzbait is really hard to beat. So if they're super active, if they're up shallow, if you want to get a giant bite in that, 4+ pound range, it seems like a buzzbait is the option for you. I don't chuck it near as much as the other ones because I feel like most of the time if I put a swim jig or a bladed jig on their nose, they're going to eat it regardless. So I just rather get a lot of bites on those and weed my way through. But we had to include this one because it's been around for so long. It's such a classic. It's what most people think about. So an LS buzzbait. This is a limited one that we've got a couple left on the website right now. It's a living rubber skirt. It's all dark purple. We've got a black blade. It's got a little bit of black in the skirt, but it's got a ton of action. It's got a lot of squeak. It makes a ton of commotion on the surface. So if they're feeding really good, or if you want to have a ton of fun, you're not going to see the bite, but you're sure as hell going to hear it, or your rod's going to get ripped out of your hand. And this is an awesome way to get some super big bites. So if you're around big fish, if you're tired of catching just a bazillion on a swim jig, mix this in, see what happens, and you'd be surprised at how many good fish you're going to get bit on. So I don't have anything crazy to break this down. I don't have any big secrets or whatnot. I would throw a trailer on the back, or at least a stinger hook. Trailer, because if they come to suck it up, it gives more pull to the bait, whereas if they come and they blow up behind it and they go to suck in, all that water comes through the skirt, there's less pull there. But if you put some kind of swim bait or like a revived Baitco greasy grub or something on the back, that just gives them more pull to suck it in, or throw a stinger hook on the back there so that way if they come up and short strike it, you're going to get them. But a buzzbait is super hard to beat at night too if you're looking to get that really big bite. All right, so we've talked about the why, we've talked about locations, we've talked baits. Now we're going to talk about setups. Whatever you like to fish during the day with these baits is great. One thing I will say is if you've got a braid rod, run the braid rod, okay? They can't see as well. I know I talked about the moonlight and stuff like that. It's still dark, they can't see as well. These fish are not line shy. So if you can get away with running braid, run braid. I have not found a situation yet where there's been a difference between running fluorocarbon and running braid. So if you can get away with it, run the braid and just catch more fish. It's more sensitive. You get all the advantages of braid. You don't have to worry about all the stuff that you have to worry about fluorocarbon, and you can just really stick it to them, especially with these Gaff Swim Jigs. One thing I've noticed is with the bend of that hook, we call it the Gaff because it keeps them stuck like crazy, but this thing has a gnarly hook on it. And it seems like, one thing I've noticed with it is, if you're throwing it on fluorocarbon, it excels with a heavier rod on heavy fluorocarbon on shorter casts. So if I'm burning bank, it's exceptional. It does a really good job. On longer casts, unless you crack the absolute snot out of them, so if you're bombing grass flats and stuff, if you're running on braid, you won't have an issue. If you're running on fluorocarbon, it seems like sometimes that stretch, just doesn't get that hook all the way to the bend because of the way that it's angled. So we call it the gaff because they're not coming off, but if you can run it on braid, run it on braid, because once you get them, they are never, ever, ever coming off. So in terms of rods, I don't make things too complicated. It's not like you're fishing at night, you gotta make it shorter. This is a 7.3 medium heavy fast. It's a TFO rod. It's their GTS Bass. But it's a medium heavy. With that braid, it kind of cancels out. I don't run a ton of heavy rods at night because I don't have to. I think the medium heavy does a really good job. The braid makes up for that tip, and I don't lose as many fish for whatever reason there. So a swim jig on a medium heavy, I feel like they get it a little bit better too with that medium heavy fast, just because they can suck it into that tipple bend a little bit, just enough for me to crack them. But yeah, braid on whatever you want. I'll run fluorocarbon on the bladed jigs just because it's got a little bit more sponge to it. But on the Buzzbaits, on the swim jigs, on anything there, pretty much running straight braid, some kind of 7-foot to 7.3 medium heavy on everything. 20-pound fluorocarbon on the bladed jigs, but that's it. Some kind of 7 to 1, 7 to 3, 7 to 4, any kind of 7 gear ratio reel. And like I said, you just slow ticker along. It's nothing too crazy. Don't overcomplicate it. Just work it nice and easy. And if you're not getting bites, slow down a little bit. It seems like most of the time, that nice steady retrieve, or you're just going along, ticking it along the rocks is the best way. The faster you reel it, I feel like the less bites you get. So nice and easy on all of them. Keep that buzzbait going at a really slow retrieve. Swim jig, tick it along the bottom, tick it over the grass. And the bladed jig, same deal, just tick it along. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy there. As far as trailers go, for swim jigs, bladed jigs, put it on the back of your buzzbait. There's a couple that I really like and I kind of stick to that I feel like outperform other ones. I don't like running paddle tails on any of these at night. I know some guys are gonna argue with that. I just don't. I feel like it puts a lot of thump at the back and they grab the tail a lot and I miss a lot more. So as far as what I like to do at night, I like some kind of kicking craw in any capacity. So whether that's like Meta Scrub style, like this Revive Baitco Greasy Grub, we'll link these below, or some kind of generic kicking craw trailer. I like darker colors, black and blues, dark green pumpkins, purples, anything like that. Just match it to the back of your swim jig, or if you've got a lighter swim jig, throw a darker color on the back. Again, you're looking for silhouette and you want a little bit of vibration there to help that lateral line. So anything that's got that good kick on the back, it's not overwhelming, it slows your bait down a little bit, but it's a really good way to get a ton of bites, get a bunch of big bites, and not worry about anything there. I also like adding scent to the back. So whatever that is, I don't work with any scent companies. I don't have a preference. I just like adding scent to them because I want every advantage at night because they're not pressured. And so if they can smell it and they can feel it and they can see the silhouette of it, they're gonna eat it. So that's that. Honorable mention baits. The last thing here, honorable mentions, you know, whatever you like throwing, great, check it out, try it at night. But the last thing that didn't make the list, obviously, I don't throw them a ton, but some kind of 7 to 10 inch black worm or something like that is another really awesome way. If, for whatever reason, they're not eating a swim jig ticked on the bottom or a bladed jig or a buzzbait, but you know they're there, go through with some kind of big worm and put a tungsten weight and a bead, don't peg them, put them right in front of it and just crawl that sucker along so that every time you move it, that weight and the bead click, it makes a noise, they can kind of hone in on it, and it seems like just kind of milking that around the areas that you're pretty sure there's fish is a great way to get some good bites and pick up those fish that for whatever reason won't eat any of these. But generally speaking, it seems like at night, if you throw one of these 3 baits, you're gonna catch a lot of fish. So that's all I've got for you guys today. I'm pretty sure we've covered everything. If you have any questions, comment them below, shoot me an email, a DM, whatever. But all the baits that we talked about today are linked below. Jump on the website, check them out. This is what I do for my full-time job, so everything that you guys do helps a ton. We've got a bunch of awesome deals coming out in the future. We're gonna start launching ads every single week, so be sure to check out all of our other videos, like and subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate you guys all more than you know. And this is today's Tackle Talk Tuesday on Catching Bass at Night. Get out there, get a headlamp, go have more fun.